I like to react to people in order to better understand what their circumstance is. Somebody sent me this video and they said, Anton, it's this guy, and his name is Corey Jones, I believe. Let me see. Corey Jones, 100,000 subscribers. I'm not sure exactly what this video is going to say, but he has 100,000 subscribers. And I guess the video is what his experience was in corporate America. So I'm going to check this video out. We're going to react to it, and we're going to see what he says. We want to give credit to the content creator. If you like what it is that he's saying or you like his platform, be sure to head over there and then subscribe to his channel and tell him that Anton from AntonDaniels.com sent you. And get it in, all right? Again, his name is Corey Jones. As of the recording of this video, he has 100,000 subscribers. And we're going to get into it, all right? Let's get it popping.
Okay, guys, I'm finally making this video for you all because I know I've been promising this video for y'all. Today, I am going to be talking about my experience and journey in corporate America as a Black male. I've had ups, I've had downs, I've witnessed bias, I've witnessed discrimination. So yeah, happy to share my experience with y'all and share.
Wait a minute, how long is this video before we get into this? Is this moving a little? Woo! 30 minutes. All right, we gotta speed this up. We're gonna be jumping through this to see where we can get the meat out of this thing.
Share this story. I've enjoyed my experience and my journey to get to where I am now in my life. Everything that I talk about today, you know, has propelled me and elevated me in a way that I can't even move, how to maneuver everything that you go through in life. You can't start this video without saying like how I even got started, right? And I hope some of y'all watch my started. So as some of you all know, I started off in the hotel industry, honestly. I graduated from the University of South Carolina with a management degree focused in hospitality management and wanted to get into hotel management, resort management, be a GM, open up my own hotel. That ended up pivoting. But my experience in the hotel industry, it wasn't bad at all. I just hated dealing with customers. Like,
listen, don't go into hospitality management as a degree when you go into college. Get a STEM degree. A STEM degree. A lot of people that want to become the CEOs, a lot of these companies are engineers. You don't have to go into hospitality management in order to manage a hotel. And I think that a lot of people pick a lot of these degrees because it's an easier path to getting a degree, but that is absolutely one of the worst things that you can do is go into hospitality management. I know a lot of people that's just basically a hotel desk clerk because they got a degree in hospitality management.
Customer and guest is a pain. And also the money wasn't the way it needed to be for all the stuff you had to do to move up. But that's for another thing. I ended up pivoting to get into higher education. So higher education, if y'all don't know, that's when you work for a university, in a school system, college system, things like that. So I ended up going back to the University of South Carolina, and there I was a admissions counselor / recruiter for 2 years. And then I spent a year as a multicultural coordinator, assisting with some of our multicultural programs. I stayed there for like 2.5, 3 years. I enjoyed it there. My experience there was great. It was a wonderful atmosphere. Coworkers was great. Never experienced any bias, never experienced like any discrimination.
Well, of course you didn't, because you was a multicultural coordinator. That just sounds like diversity, equity, and inclusion. I will say that working at a university, because I worked at a university myself, except for I was a software engineer for the University of Michigan. It is a much more enjoyable experience. It's less high pressure. It's not a privately owned entity. You know what I'm saying? It is when you do your 401k, it's not a 401k. I think it's a 403b or something like that. It is a nonprofit organization. And so it's always going to be much easier. It's going to be a lot more pleasant. It's not going to be as high pressure. And so you're going to have a much more enjoyable experience. However, I don't know how he got a degree and then pivoted over into working at a university in a multicultural diversity, equity, and inclusion and anything like that. Sounds like another piece of funding that they put inside of the university that didn't necessarily need, right? Multicultural experiences. We can eliminate that job. We're going to go ahead and do layoffs. But you don't make no money at the university like that. You get a whole lot of benefits. You get job security. You get a lot of things, but you don't necessarily make any money. So if you want to have some stability, you don't have to worry about getting laid off. You want to have a good time. You want to be a little bit more passive. You're never going to really be getting fired at that particular job. Then working at a university is absolutely one of the ways to go. And you get a lot of perks. I got a double match for my 403b. They had some of the best benefits. I got like basically over 2 months off per year, and then you was able to roll over like 10 weeks into the next year. So it was awesome on that front, but you're not going to make no real money doing it. But they also, another one of the perks and the benefits that I leverage, and one of the reasons why I chose to work at the University of Michigan as a software engineer, was A, to get the experience in corporate America as far as the tech space, but B, they paid for me to go to a major university in order to continue my bachelor's degree. And so I leveraged it, went to the community college. When I wind up going over to the major university and working there, then I also got free schooling. And so that allowed for me to basically minimize the amount of debt that I had to take on in order to get your software engineering degree. So it's a lot of benefits and perks that go along with it, but you're just not going to really make no whole lot of money. And so you got to have your own business and your own stack that you're getting on the side. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody was happy to be there. The campus was beautiful. Students was great. Like, it was a great job. The only problem was the pay. The pay sucked, and y'all have to go back and watch the video to understand, why. Where I was in my life, I needed to make more. You know what I'm saying? I needed to provide more. So that's why I had to leave that job.
Sorry about that. It's a dope produced video though.
So when I left that job, I ended up applying to a bunch of jobs, y'all. I applied to job after job. I had interviews with NASCAR. I had interviews with Airbnb, Twitter, a whole bunch of companies. Anyway, I ended up landing my first corporate job as a contractor. So I ended up applying for a recruiter job at Deloitte. They contacted me. They was like, yo, we're giving this recruiter role to someone else, but would you be open to a recruiting coordinator role? I was like, recruiting coordinator role. Mind you,
a lot of people are incredibly skeptical about joining an organization as a contractor. I think that is one of the best things that you can do, but one of the benefits or one of the drawbacks and benefits, depending on what it is that you're doing, of joining things as a contractor is you got to actually be worth your salt, because A, you're going to get paid basically as a 1099 employee or a 1099er, or basically as your own business. And so you're not an actual employee of the business. You make a little bit more money. On the flip side, though, is that in order for you to get hired in, because a lot of people's objective is to get hired in, get the benefits and all of that stuff. In order for you to get hired in, you basically either going to get your contract renewed or you're going to get hired in, depending on the business climate and whether or not they like you. But the easiest way for you to get in there is for the path of least resistance to go in as a contractor. Most of the time you do get hired in, and you become a lot more successful as a result of it. I even went into the University of Michigan as a contractor and then got hired in and then went from there. So don't be afraid to go into a company as a contractor if you worth your salt. If you know what you're doing, and you know that they're going to value you, or you know that you're going to be able to prove that you're a great employee, don't be afraid to go in as a contractor. You will more than likely get hired as a permanent.
I didn't know much about it. I was like, cool. And then they was like, the only caveat is, I know that you applied in Charlotte, but we would need you to move to Atlanta for this particular role. I was like, all right, cool. I got family there. I'll move to Atlanta for a contract role, figure the rest out. So a recruiting coordinator is basically you help out recruiters with scheduling, office visits, things like that. So you're not out there doing the recruitment, but it's a good stepping stone to becoming a recruiter. My contract was technically for 6 months. So I started the role, moved down to Atlanta, went into the office. First person I saw was a black young lady. Crystal, if you're watching this, I appreciate you. The only black person that was technically on the team that I was on. She welcomed me with open arms. She was the first person I seen when I walked in the building. I'm dressed in, the Deloitte attire. If y'all know Deloitte, you got some.
Y'all got to stop. A lot of these people, and I'm not speaking to his experience in particular, I'm just using it as a talking point. Y'all have to stop thinking that the only thing that you should be looking for, or the only people that you should be networking with, is people that look like you. I know that we like identity politics, and we always, oh man, you the black person. If you want to stand out in corporate America, if you want to be great in any way, shape, or form, you have to separate yourself by not only talking to other black people, you have to be a part of everybody. Now, I know y'all look for a little bit more comfortability by getting with black people and stuff like that, but the opportunities come from networking with people that don't look like you also. It's a bigger pool and it's a bigger slice of the pie if you rock out with also people that don't look like you and don't look to only get help from or ask help from or only align yourself with people that look like you. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I see from black people in corporate America.
Khakis on, you got the button down on, you got a little brief thing, So I was ready. Crystal was very cool, I'm saying? I'm still cool with Crystal to this day. One of my best friends that is a woman for short. Me and Crystal, we was like this, I'm saying? Y'all know when you got that one friend in the office, y'all be here. But anyway, we was on a team and she was a coordinator and I was a coordinator. I was a coordinator for a couple of recruiters. She was a coordinator for a couple of recruiters. Both Crystal and I had the same manager since we both were coordinators. So this is where I got my first taste of being like a black male in corporate America. And it didn't help that I was the only black male on the coordinator team in like the Southeast. Maybe it was like maybe one or two of us, man. My first issue came when me and my manager, we would be talking and things like that. And I thought she trusted me. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't do anything for her not to trust me or anything like that. Somehow she told Crystal like, oh, I don't think Corey's happy in his role. This and that, this and that. Can you talk to him and see? So Crystal told me, she was like, yeah, like such and such said that she feel like you're not happy on the team and you don't want to be here. And I was like, what? I ain't even doing that. I'm still trying to learn the role. I don't know what's going on. So that was the first thing. I was like, that's weird. I never experienced like another person going to another person directly about me without coming to me. And I remember Crystal saying, yeah, she said she feel like she can't gauge you or she can't really understand, not even understand. I think the word she used, like she can't read you or she can't gauge you. And I was like, what? Why she just didn't ask me or come to me in one of our one-on-ones and say, hey, y'all did like. So the second thing that happened on this team was one of the recruiters that I was assigned to as far as like being a coordinator for.
I'm trying to understand where the black part comes in. He may have a gripe and maybe even a legitimate gripe about the professionalism of the person that he's supposed to be up under, coming to him in particular, which I also have to ask myself the question of why they had the impression that it seemed as though he wasn't a person that liked his role. But on top of that, I have to ask myself the question and say, how does that factor into you being a black man in corporate America? I don't understand what a correlation with the race part is.
She started treating me like I was just a little go boy. Like, that's it. Like, I remember, I'll never forget this. And I was pissed. I was working like maybe late. It was like 6 o'clock. I was working late, working on scheduling some interviews. And she emailed me and she was like, hey, can you get this pizza order out for me? And in the email, she had every detail, where the pizza needed to go, what the actual pizzas was, how many pizzas, what the toppings were. She was actually on campus recruitment and needed these pizzas to come. Mind you, I'm doing work. So I saw the email. I was like, what? The amount of time that it just could have took her to pick up the phone and order those pizzas. She went and made the email to send to me so I could then order these pizzas for her. It was the weirdest thing ever. So then I was like, this is so weird between my manager and then her. It was just wild to me because I never experienced anything like that. This is probably like month 4 within the contract. Remember, I have 6 months in. I was like, they probably are not going to renew my contract even if they could, because I just have this bad vibe. You know what I'm saying? So then I started interviewing with other companies. Crystal hooked me up with one of her people that they was looking for a role at Accenture. Ended up applying to that role to be a campus recruiter for the AUC. And then that's when.
So he knew that he wasn't meeting expectations. He knew that he wasn't meeting expectations. And so he was smart enough. I'm going to give him some credit and then I'm going to give him some criticism. He knew that he wasn't meeting expectations. So he was smart enough to go and start looking for another job before he lost the one that he had. All right. And then secondly, on top of that, though, I'm not trying to figure out why my boss is doing what they're doing. The only thing that I'm trying to do is be a good cultural fit and make sure that I'm running up a bag and I'm putting myself in a position to get a bigger bag as a result of it. Man, I don't care nothing about what my boss is and doing all of that stuff. Man, I don't care what the goal is. Listen, am I getting paid for the time that I'm there? So what? You want me to order a pizza or whatever? All right, cool. I'm going to order a pizza and get this popping off. One of the things that I did in corporate America that allowed for me to level up is that I always volunteered to do the small things. Whenever we would have a town hall, whenever we would have, this or have that or whatever like that, like I did or I volunteered to do that stuff, and I was making a ton of money or I was in a higher position, but I would go out and I would pick up the paper towels and I would volunteer to be the announcer in order to get more visibility in front of certain people. I would introduce myself and I would leverage it as an opportunity. And I would always do it with good energy and with a good attitude, because it's not about, I was getting paid anyway. I was getting paid to be there no matter what. What do I care whether or not they making me go get pizzas or anything like that? That doesn't mean anything to me. The only thing I care about is making sure that I have a good attitude, be a good cultural fit, that people like to work with me and that they remember me in a positive way. I don't care nothing about all of that stuff, but let me continue.
And I started my next role. So I ended up leaving Deloitte before my contract was even over. Deuces, I'm out, and went over to Accenture.
Smart.
To leave Deloitte, I was happy to get up off that team because what I was experiencing, it was just, as y'all can see, it was just rough to be in that type of atmosphere, in that environment. So when I got to Accenture, everything was good. I had to recruit for the AUC, which is its own team. So Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark Atlanta had to recruit at those schools, be on campus, host events, hire, everything like that. And then I also had Georgia State, which was rolling out, and then I was taking on Kennesaw State. And then on my team, I had maybe 3 other recruiters with me, and we had some recruiting coordinators that used to help out. And due to my experience at Deloitte, I knew how to treat recruiting coordinators with respect. Don't just treat them as go boys and just to be saying, hey, do this for me, do this for me. So I kind of knew how to treat coordinators, and they respected that. And also all the recruiters on this team was cool too. Everybody was cool. It was a great time. It was me and this other girl that started, Nicole, if you're watching, shout out to you, Nicole. She started the same time. We was like, boom. And then the other recruiter, she was on the team probably 3-4 years before me, and then some other recruiters, but everybody was cool. My manager ended up getting a job and leaving. And then that's when everything went downhill. So one of the recruiters that was working there before me ended up moving into that manager role. Now, I was on campus all the time. I was, at Morehouse, Clark Atlanta, Spelman, on campus, hosting.
If everywhere that you go, you have problems, it may not be because you're a black man. It may be because it's a you problem. Just my experience. I don't know what that is. All I could do is take what he's saying at face value. If I go here and I have a problem, and then I go here that I have a problem, and then I go here that I have a problem, and it's always, well, when my manager leaves, it's always, oh man, it started to go. If everywhere that I go in corporate that I start having similar problems, regardless of where I go, I'm going to have to start evaluating the role that I'm playing and how it is that I'm presenting myself instead of holding everybody else accountable or holding quote unquote corporate America accountable for what it is that I'm getting from a results perspective. But let me hear some more.
Events, doing things the way they need to be done. You know what I'm saying? Campus team, making a relationship with the campus team. I was new, so I was still learning. I was still making mistakes. I was still, learning along the way.
So you was learning
still
on the
fresh.
job,
I was doing a great job. We had the highest percentage of accept rates when it came to offers. We hosted the most events. We was named the top employer on campus. And this was around the time where I got selected for the YouTube Next Up program. And they said, yo, we gonna fly you out to LA for a week and with other creators, and we gonna give y'all $10,000 and y'all can do whatever y'all want with it and a voucher to. I said, yo, I gotta do this. So I told my manager, I was like, look, I'm gonna be using PTO. And I didn't have to tell her what I'll be using PTO for. I had the days. I said, I'm going to take a week off using my PTO on this particular week. I said, since you're my manager, I'm going to tell you what's going on. I said, I'm taking.
Wrong, 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 wrong. I just had a coaching call with somebody the other day, and they said, Anton, how much of my personal life should I be exposing in corporate America? And I said, practically none, only the part that allows for you to continue to level up so that people are not criticizing you and even evaluating whether or not you have other employment opportunities or you got other stuff going on outside of whatever it is that you're doing. When I was in corporate America, it's a reason why my YouTube content was super family friendly and all of this stuff. And I waited until after I left corporate America before I actually started to deep dive into the stuff that I really wanted to talk about and on social media, because I knew that based off of the trajectory of where I was going in corporate America, it was not going to be friendly. It was not going to be cool. Overly being friendly and telling your business, this don't have nothing to do with being black in corporate America. This got everything to do with you not understanding that these people are not your friends. They are your work colleagues. They are your connection. They are your network. And talking too much, doing too much, thinking that people are your friends is the fastest way to get yourself fast-tracked up out of there. Going and talking about, oh man, I'm a part of the YouTube creator program. All right, so now they're going to research you. They're going to start having conversations about what you're doing, what you got going on outside of work, whether or not you're creating content during work hours or whatever. You just make yourself a target. Talking too much, bro.
A week off of PTO because, I got selected for the YouTube Next Up program, and they're flying out maybe 10 creators out to LA to do X, Y, and Z, so I'm excited about this. So I'm gonna use my PTO so I can do that. She's like, all right, cool. Yeah, we'll have somebody cover for you. Yada, yada, yada. I went, did that, come back. I'm hopping on like team calls and stuff like that to help other teams and stuff like that. And this one girl's like, oh yeah, I heard, I think somebody said your manager said that you don't want to be here. I was like, don't want to be.
Look, not what? I don't know what's going on. What? Why would she say that? That's not what I said to her. This is just like fucking high school. I'm sorry. I know that y'all out here in the churches and y'all doing daycare. This is just like high school. You don't want to expose any, this is his fault. Honestly, objectively speaking, all of the problems that he's having right now, based off of what he's communicated up to this point, is 100%. And I know that people probably in his comments is probably supporting and saying, oh man, it's their fault or whatever. And that's how people do. They're not objective in order to be able to call you out on your shit. This is why you need mentors. This is why a lot of people need coaching, because somebody that is going to objectively tell you the truth, not what you want to hear, but they're going to tell you what you need in order to be successful. Too much talking, too much chatty patty, and now he feeling misunderstood. It don't matter whether you did it the right way or the wrong way. You're communicating the wrong way as far as what you want your image to be in that particular environment. Too much information. Sorry about that. Got a little bit of hung up, but we good. We back. Let's continue.
What you mean don't want to be here? She's like, she told somebody you're not serious about your role. You don't want to be here. You just want to do content creation, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I never said none of that. I ain't never said none of that. So everybody on that team think anytime I get deployed to their team to help them out, I ain't going to do no work and I don't want to be there. So she done started this rumor that I don't want to be there and I'm not doing no work, and people are starting to perceive me that way when my numbers and everything like that speak for itself. So that was flag number one. Flag number two is,
now the flag is on your part. Listen, y'all, at some point we got to take personal ownership and responsibility for the thing that we put ourselves in. Stop talking about your personal business with people that you work with. Keep it real G, keep it real kosher. And don't talk about who you sleeping with, none of that. Hey, oh no, look, keep it real G, real general, and be a cultural fit. You there to make money, not to make friends.
every time we have a one-on-one call, she ain't never said anything like that. Every time we have a one-on-one call, I'm asking her like, yo, I'm trying to grow in my recruiting career. Any type of advice that you want to give me, any professional development, anything like that. You know, I'll just give her some frequent updates of what's going on campus, where I'll be during that week. Because mind you, in this role, you had to be on campus, talking to the career centers, talking to the students, also doing your primary job as well as putting candidates through the process and all that.
Do you know that every last one of my colleagues that I work with have no clue about what it is that I got going on outside? They don't know nothing about my real estate. They don't know nothing about, they know I'm married. They don't know if I got kids. They don't know none of that. And the reason that I told them that I'm married is because it makes me look better in this corporate environment, because being a married man, being a married grown man makes me more marketable. The guy that ultimately brought me in, he's no longer with the company, but the guy that recruited me and brought me in and said, hey, Anton, come check it out. That was a former colleague that I had somewhere else. But everybody else, they don't know nothing about what I got going on. They don't know nothing about me. They don't know nothing that I have going on outside of how I deliver to them in corporate America. It ain't none of their business at all.
That stuff. So I was on campus almost on a weekly basis down at the AUC. And I would be on campus working in the student union, actually doing emails and stuff like that, because I didn't have time. So anytime I used to do content creation, it used to be around like 10 p.m. at night, 11 p.m. at night when I'm done working and I have some time. She had a conversation with me and she was like, I feel like I don't know what you're doing or where you're at. I was like, you have access to my calendar. In our one-on-ones, I tell you where I'm going to be at, what events I'm hosting. You hop in on our AUC call sometimes and you're there. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. Like, I'm giving you the visibility. She
should just leave right
decided
now
to tell her manager that I wasn't doing no work and that I wasn't serious about my role and things like that. And this is when they started to try to create a plan to get me up out of there. We get to the point to where she's like, okay, for now on, I need you to send me every Friday at 3 p.m. I need you to send me an email recapping everything you've done for the week. I was like,
yep, you get
okay, I can do that. So I did that. I think she
black.
thought I wouldn't do it. Every single week I'm doing them. Boom. Probably 2 weeks after that is a call on my calendar with her and her manager. I was like, oh man, what's going on?
About to put him on a PIP, boy.
She done rolled up a PIP plan. If y'all know a PIP plan.
I knew it. Listen. Honest to God on everything. Honest to God on everything. And I don't even know if his performance was good or bad. It doesn't even matter. Honest to God, on my father's grave, on everything. I've never seen this video. I've never seen this before. This is my first time hearing about this. I knew that it was going to put him on a PIP because I understand how corporate works. I knew it 1,000%. I knew that a PIP was coming, a performance improvement plan. Same thing I put true to myself on, and then he wound up nagging himself out and getting up out of here. I knew that they was about to put that boy on the PIP. Immediately. He should have been looking for another job right then and there.
And that is a plan for you to improve, and if you don't improve, you get fired. I'm on the call with her and her manager,
Probably had a bad
and she telling me this, and I just feel like this, and da 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 da. It's a lot of I feel like, but it's no I knows or any demonstrations or you missing this. It's like I feel like this, and I feel like that, and I feel like you're this, and I feel like she told me she feel like I don't talk to the team. I don't talk to the team. When I talk to everybody on the team on an individual basis, during team calls, I'm not saying too much because everybody got their own stuff to say. Unless I really need to say it, I'll say it. I'll kiki here and there, but I don't have much to input. Granted, I'm still new anyway. I'm about 2.5 years in at this point. I'm still learning as I go. I'm not trying to be the subject matter expert just yet. I'm still, I'm still doing my thing.
After
and she's saying, well, yeah, I feel like you need
still trying to learn after 2 years, big dog?
Be more outgoing and this and that. I was like, I was so confused. I was so confused at why I was being put on a performance improvement plan because like I said, I had some of the highest numbers on the team. It was crazy. So then I knew they was trying to get me up out of there. So as y'all can see where this is going. So I'm on this performance improvement plan. It went from me having to eat.
I like that setup in the background. That's pretty dope.
Email her every single week on Friday to every single day at 3 p.m. I got to email her what I worked on every single day. So then in the performance improvement plan, it said I need to reach out to teammates even more. So then I had to start kikiing with everybody on the team. I had to be making small talk. I had to be like, how's your dog doing? How's your kitten doing? Pinging people.
Been doing that anyway.
Man, I was getting done. I was doing a runaround, bro. Oh, let me rewind. Also, after the call with her and her manager, I said, yo, I'm gonna have just a conversation with her manager without her. So that's what I did.
Oh, this boy like enemies. This boy like enemies. Oh, if I'm him, before I get myself put up out of there, and I'm gonna be doing two things at the same time. The first thing that I'm gonna be doing is networking and looking for a new position because I know that my time is gonna be limited there. In the meantime, I'm gonna make sure that I pull my manager aside and say, hey, listen, whatever it takes in order for me to be successful, my job is to make you look good. And, I apologize for this, whatever, because the humility part don't necessarily mean that you have to think that you're wrong. The only thing that you have to do is humble yourself and put yourself in a position to continue to get the bag. The goal is the bag. The goal is the bag. I am there to make money. I am not there in order to take y'all home with me. What happens on the weekend is my time. What happened during the time that I'm here, I need to make sure that I protect the bag until I can get another bag. I'm pulling my manager aside and I'm gonna give them a different disposition about who I am and help them and try to humble myself in front of them to make sure that I'm getting the best results possible. And again, I don't know what his performance was or whatever because I wasn't there. The only thing I'm going based off is what my experiences are dealing with people in corporate America on a regular basis.
I had a conversation. The manager's like, I just think that y'all have some communication issues. Honestly, I think that's the main thing. Y'all need to communicate with each other more. And I was like, in our one-on-ones, that's what they're for. I'm communicating with her. I'm telling her what I'm doing. I'm telling her where I'm gonna be, what's going on, what's the results. I don't know what else I can do in order to communicate. She's not communicating with me. She's not telling me how she feel or what she want me to do or where she feel I need improvement at or where's the feedback or what if she can help me. Like she's not telling me. So we used to go to our one-on-ones and she didn't
YouTube channel too.
Have not one bullet point for me. She just waited for me to say something or whatever, and that's it. Which that's okay. But if you have feedback or you have something you need to tell me, you put it on the agenda and we talk about it. But she had nothing. She just came on a one-on-one. Hey, how you doing? What you got for me? And I tell her, and that's it. So, yeah, after I had the conversation with her manager was like, yeah, y'all just have communication issues. That's all it is. She was like, I feel like your performance have been great from my point of view. But she's the one that's directly managing you. And it just sounds like y'all have communication issues. And I think that's the main thing. But either way, after the time has passed from my performance improvement plan, I rocked it out.
This guy.
I was good. They ain't had no case to fire me. They ain't had, at the end of it, they kept me because I did everything that I needed to do.
I remember this guy. I did a review video on this guy before. Yeah. He did this thing on him getting divorced. I think I did a review video on this. He did a video about getting divorced and his divorce story. Yeah, yeah. They're probably watching your YouTube videos, all of this stuff. Aruba, chaos in Aruba. I remember this guy. He had a video go viral and then he kind of disappeared for a while, it looks like. It doesn't look like he's doing anything too bad, though. No, his stuff is pretty family friendly, so I can't necessarily say I don't know what that YouTube trip was that did any. I don't know if that ever did anything, but I don't know where I don't know. Yeah, his stuff seems pretty family friendly. I don't see anything wrong with it, but still letting people too much into your life in corporate America, I don't know, man. All right, let's continue on with the show. See if he got anything else to add into this.
I've been doing the same as
So he got divorced. I remember him having that divorce, and that video went viral. Um, this guy is just a victim. He's a perpetual victim.
stuff that I was doing before I was even put on that plan. So I already knew the plan wasn't going to be to fire me because I'm doing everything that's already on the plan. I wish I would have kept that plan. I thought I did.
Hey, listen, y'all. If y'all plan on continuing to be in corporate America, and I don't know what his job is, I don't know if he's working in corporate America, I don't know if he's just a full-time YouTuber, I don't know if he got his own business, I don't know what he got going on. I'm just reviewing this video because y'all sent it to me. If y'all plan on being in corporate America after this, like, you can't be complaining about being in corporate America. It's a bad marketing tool for yourself if people look you up online. If you are going to continue to stay in corporate America, you can't talk about how you don't like what was going on at corporate America. It is a bad marketing strategy, in my personal opinion.
We ended up having a reorg on our recruitment team. Some recruiters got outplaced somewhere else. I got put on a candidate management team. So now I got a new manager. Me and that manager was like, here, we was good. We was good. Everything's good. I was doing my work. One-on-ones went great. Everything was good. I'm finally feeling like I have what I need in order to be good. Thankfully, during this time, I wasn't looking at it. I was looking, but then when we got pivoted to another team, I wasn't looking anymore. But I ended up getting a message from a recruiter on LinkedIn 2 times, one for a contracting role and one for a full-time role. First, it was a contract role. It was like, hey, we got a contract recruiter role. Wouldn't mind you joining the team, yada, yada, yada. Would you be okay having a call? Had the call, was going through the interview process. Then another recruiter reached out for a full-time recruiter role. And I was like, you know something? I'd rather go that route. And, both of them at Google. So I was like, shoot, put me on. You know what I'm saying? So went through the interview process with Google, got that, left Accenture. I said deuces to Accenture. And end up going over to Google. And honestly, at Google, this has been the best experience I've had as a black male on a team. And yet, I'm still the only black male on the team.
I'm still trying to understand where the black part comes in. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where is the black part coming in? Because I don't see any racism or anything like that.
One of the few in recruiting.
You crazy,
but
Tia.
My experience have been great. My teammates are great. My manager is great. She understands me. I understand her. She know how I can contribute to the team, and she utilized my strengths. And that's how it's supposed to be. Now, I will say, even with a great experience at Google, I still feel like as a black male, I have to prove myself in, week out. I'm sometimes placed in positions to where I have to prove myself time in and time out. I'm capable. I know what I'm doing. I've been in recruiting for X amount of years. There's only but so many ways you could talk to a candidate, so many ways you could give out an offer, so many ways you can schedule interviews, there's so many ways for you to source candidates, there's so many
Read that
ways
super
to,
chat
like,
shortly.
sometimes some of the information, the things that you do in recruitment is the same, it's just different per role, and you just have to plug in what it is for that role. So for me, the job as a recruiter isn't hard at all. I know what I'm doing. I'm a very personable person. All my candidates love me. My candidate experience rating is high. Like, I know what I'm doing. So like sometimes when I get placed on a different role that I didn't work on, it's like sometimes like micromanaging by people that maybe have been on that team before. That's just been my experience, man. My experience in corporate America as a black male, it's not easy. Day in and day out, you gotta, prove yourself, and especially if you don't fit the mold and what they want you to be. So not technically just the color of your skin, but by the way you talk, by the way you act, by the
I don't understand what the color of your skin got to do with any of these stories. All of these stories, honestly, I don't understand. It don't have nothing to do with gender. It don't have nothing to do with color of your skin. It don't have nothing to do with none of that. I've listened to the whole thing, this whole thing up to this point, and I have not seen anything relative to racism or genderism or whatever isms that y'all think that this is making sense. I don't understand what having being a black man in corporate have to do with any of these stories. But let's continue. Maybe it's just clickbait.
way you do your job. Like I always say, I'm a personable recruiter. I'm a laid back recruiter. I'm not about to get on the phone with you and be like, hey, how you doing, and fake it. You know what I'm saying? And candidates love that I'm able to just have a conversation with them, cool, calm, and collected. I'm not forcing them. I'm not down their throat. I'm not loud. I'm not fully overly excited. Like, we here. Like, I understand what's going on. I've been in your shoes before, and we're gonna try to get you to the finish line, and that's how it is. And they always appreciate me because, for one, I respond quickly, and two, I'm personable, and three, I'm not trying to always sell them something and always sound extra excited and things like that. Like, I'm myself, and they appreciate that. I think the role of a recruiter differs. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have your extremely excited people. You're gonna have your people that is a laid back. You're gonna have your people, like, it's not one sided. But I do feel like at Accenture, my manager there was trying to make it one-sided. Like, just because I did things differently and it was successful for me, that means that I'm not doing my job and don't belong in that role. And the way I'm doing is just being me, by the color of my skin, by the way that I talk, and by my demeanor. But the results show that it's successful. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, my team at Google right now, I love my team, man. Everybody
That's
is
dope. I'm
great.
glad that he likes
Anytime
his
you
job.
join a new team, a new company, you definitely got to prove yourself. You got to prove yourself more than others. That's just my experience. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes what you have on paper, what you've done in the past, people want to see for themselves if you can do that same thing. I don't know how many times I've told people, like, yeah, in my past role, I had to do this, and this don't even compare to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm used to this. I know what I'm doing. Like, cool, cool. But they don't treat it as such. They want to see that, oh, he can handle that. He's capable. You know what I'm saying? That is, sometimes the challenge, man, in corporate America. But yeah, like I said, I enjoy my job. I enjoy working at Google. Great team. And out of all the companies that I've worked at, I haven't had an experience where I felt like I've been discriminated against or there's been any bias at Google. So I do appreciate how they've outlined the culture and how they've embraced.
All right. It sounds like it is what it is. So that's him. Again, his name is Corey Jones. If you guys rock with his content, and go over there and let him know that Anton from AntonDaniels.com sent you. I always like to give credit where credit is due, regardless of whether or not I agree or I disagree with some stuff that I understand, and other things I'm just not understanding what he's trying to communicate. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Let me